Hi guys, today we're going to be making this top-down cardigan. It's super easy to make and I have all the sizes listed in the tutorial, so keep watching and yeah, let's get straight into it. The yarn I'm going to be using is called Banert yarn. It's 100% acrylic. It's 189 grams. And it's 360 yards, and it recommends a 5mm hook, and that's what I'm going to be using. You're going to need a pair of scissors. You're going to need 4 stitch markers, and I think that's all. I'm making this for myself, so it's going to be an extra large. So we're going to start with a slip knot. This is how I make my slip knots. And I'm going to make a chain of 85. 1, 2, make sure your chains are not too tight. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to continue until I have 85 and I'll be back. Here I have my chain of 85. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark the corners of our cardigan, and I'm going to put on the screen here somewhere there where to place your corner depending on the size that you're making. So since I'm making a size extra large, I'm going to count up to the 15th stitch. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this is the 15th stitch, and I'm placing here my stitch marker. Okay, then from here I'm going to count 29. So this is 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So this is my 29th stitch, and I'm placing here a stitch marker as well. So that's 29. So my next corner is going to be I'm going to count up to the 58th stitch. So this is 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, I'm placing there a stitch marker right here, and then I'm going to count again up to the 72nd stitch. So this is 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 67, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 1, 2. So I'm placing here my stitch marker as well. Okay, so here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. The same as this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Okay, so where we have our stitch markers, those are going to be the corners of our cardigan. And now I'm going to grab my 5mm hook again. So for row 1, we're going to yarn over and place a double crochet into the 2nd stitch from the hook, and this is for all sizes. So you're going to yarn over, skip this first chain, I'm going to be working in the back loops, in the bumpy stitches of my chain. So I'm going to skip this first chain and work into the second one from the hook. Make a double crochet like that, double crochet into the next stitch and in all the stitches until you get to the stitch marker. So once you get to the stitch marker, you're going to take it out, then yarn over, make 1 double crochet, chain 2, yarn over again, and back into that same space, make your second double crochet. So this is our first corner that we have here. You can put your stitch marker back on the chain 2 space if you want to. And then now we're going to make 1 double crochet in each of these stitches until we get to the second stitch marker. Oops. When you get to the stitch marker, take it out, and we're going to do the same thing we did here. Make a double crochet into that chain space, chain 2, yarn over, back into the same space, make a double crochet to make your second increase. And now we're going to make double crochets again until we get to the 3rd stitch marker. So work your way to the stitch marker and I will meet you there. Okay, I'm now at the stitch marker, my 3rd stitch marker. I've taken it out. And I'm making a double crochet into that space, chain 2, a double crochet into that same space. Now I'm going to make double crochets until I get to my next stitch marker. Okay, so I'm now here next to my stitch marker. Take that stitch marker out, make 1 double crochet into that chain space, chain 2, yarn over and make a double crochet into that same space. There you have your 4th corner. So we have 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now we're going to make 1 double crochet in each of every chain here until we get to the end. This is my last stitch. So now you should be having something like this. Okay, this is how it should look. So these 2 are front panels. This is going to be the shoulders and this is going to be the back of our cardigan. Okay, so when wearing it, it's going to be like something like this. Okay, so we're going to start row 2. You're going to chain 1, it doesn't count as a stitch, turn your work, and you're going to make a double crochet into the very first stitch. Make a double crochet. Oops. And make 1 double crochet in every stitch until you get to the stitch marker. When you get to the stitch marker, you're going to make 1 double crochet, chain 2, 1 double crochet into the same space. Then here we're going to do something different. Take out your stitch marker. Going to chain 1, and I'm going to skip this first double crochet. So yarn over, skip that first double crochet, and double crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip the next double crochet, and double crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip 1 double crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip a stitch until you get to the stitch marker. You're going to repeat the same pattern until you get to the next stitch marker. So when you get here, you're going to chain 1, skip this next double crochet, and make the increase. Take the stitch marker out, make a double crochet, chain 2, yarn over, a double crochet into the next space. Something like that. Okay, now we're going to make 1 double crochet on top of every stitch until we get to the next stitch marker. So yarn over, double crochet on top of the next double crochet, and repeat making double crochets. When you get to the corner, take out the stitch marker. Oops, kind of pulled it. Anyway, yarn over, make a double crochet in the chain 2 space, chain 2, double crochet into the same space, chain 1, skip this next double crochet, and double crochet into the next stitch, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next. Repeat this until you get to the stitch marker. Okay, I'm here now. Take the stitch marker out and make your corner. 1 double crochet, chain 2, 1 double crochet. Then we'll make 1 double crochet in each stitch until you get to the end of the row. That's the last stitch. So every time you're turning your work, you have to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch. So chain 1 and turn your work. I'm going to place this back on here. So you're going to chain 1, yarn over, make a double crochet into the first stitch. And you're going to make double crochets until you get to the stitch marker. One double crochet in each stitch. Get to the stitch marker and remove it. Make your 1 double crochet, chain 2, 1 double crochet into the same space. And then this time we're not going to be chaining 1 here, we're going to make double crochets. So you're going to yarn over, make a double crochet on top of the next stitch, double crochet on top of the next, then you're going to double crochet in the chain one space, place there one double crochet, then double crochet on top of the next stitch, double crochet in the chain one space, double crochet on top of the next stitch, double crochet in the chain one space, and you're going to repeat this on the other side as well when you get to the chain one spaces. Okay, now at the chain one space, chain two rather, make one double crochet, chain two, one double crochet, and continue making your double crochets until you get to the next corner. Then when you get here to this point, you'll do the same thing we did here. So work your double crochets and I'll meet you right on this next stitch marker. When you get to the stitch marker here, take it out and make one double crochet, chain two, one double crochet into the same space, and then continue with one double crochet on top of the next stitch and in the chain one space, just like we did earlier on the other side. When you get to the last corner, make a double crochet on top of that double crochet, then make the corner, double crochet, chain two, double crochet. Then you're going to make double crochets until you get to the end. So work your way here with one double crochet on top of every stitch, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, I'm working in my last stitch here. Chain one and turn for row 4, yarn over, double crochet into that very first stitch, double crochet until you get to the next corner. When you get to that corner, make the double crochet and chain two, double crochet again in the same space, and now we're going to do the same thing we did on the second row. Okay, so you're going to chain one, skip this next stitch, and double crochet on top of the next, chain one, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next, chain one, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next, chain one, skip a stitch, and repeat until you get to the next corner. So we're going to make our corner, double crochet, chain two, double crochet, like that. And now I'm going to make 1 double crochet until we get to this point. I'll put the stitch markers aside. I don't need them anymore, but you can keep yours on the corners, especially if you are a beginner, so you don't skip anything. So yarn over, double crochet on top of the next double crochet, do this until you get to the next corner. When you get to the stitch marker, you're going to make your corner here. Then chain 1, skip a double crochet and make a stitch into the next. Chain 1, skip a double crochet, chain 1, and you're going to repeat that until you get to the next corner. Okay, so once you get to the chain 2 space, we're going to make a corner. Then make 1 double crochet in every stitch until you get to the end here. Alright guys, so at this point you should be having something like this, and you're going to keep repeating row 2 and row 3. So this is going to be like so, yeah, like this. So this is the front, and this mesh pattern is going to go over our shoulders, so this is going to be the armholes, and then this is going to be the back of your cardigan. So I hope I'm clear on that. So you're going to keep going, making as many rows as I'm going to put on your screen, and I'm going to go ahead and continue with mine off camera, and I'll be back to show you what to do next. Okay, I'm back guys, and I have made a total of 22 rows so far, and this is what I have left of my first skein. It's almost done with. So to continue with our cardigan, we're now going to split this, separate the armholes from the body of our cardigan. Okay, so I'm going to work my way back until I get to this corner here, and then I'll show you what to do from there. Alright, I have worked my way here, and I'm now at the corner of my work. Here I have my 2 corners. I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to go through both of them at the same time and make a double crochet, and I'm trying not to make this double crochet too loose, so I'm keeping it a bit tight, but of course not too tight. Okay, so I've placed there my double crochet to join. Then from there I'm just going to continue with 1 double crochet in each stitch until I get to the end. Okay, this is how it looks. So now I'm going to work on the back portion until I get to this next corner. Then we shall do the same thing that we just did here to close up the sleeve. Okay, so I'm back to the chain 2 space here, and now we're going to join the two sides together. This is the chain 2 space for both sides. So we're going to yarn over and go through both, chain 2 spaces for both sides together and make a double crochet, trying to keep it as tight as possible but not too tight. And there you have joined that as well. Then yarn over, double crochet on top of this next double crochet, yarn over, double crochet on top of the next stitch, and repeat making double crochets until you get to the end of the row. I'm working in my last stitch, chain 1, then I'm going to turn my work and make a row of double crochets from this point, working all the way to this other point. So for the next rows, we're not going to be making this. Of course, we have left it this side because this pattern is only for the sleeve. So we're going to be making normal double crochets all the way around, on top of each and every stitch, even the stitch we made to join the armholes. Okay, so I don't know how many rows I'm going to make for this, so I will go ahead and make as many rows as I want, and then I'll be back to show you guys what I have here. Okay, because you can consider making it longer or shorter. It depends on what you're trying to go for. So I hope you're enjoying the tutorial so far. It's that easy, guys. So I've already chained 1 here. I'm going to turn my work and make double crochets on top of each double crochet until I make a couple of rows that I feel comfortable with. So we're not doing anything special here. This is what we're going to keep making. Alright guys, I'm back, and so far I have a total of 60 rows for my cardigan. So as you can see, I added pink here because this turquoise color wasn't going to be enough to complete my cardigan, so that's why I changed the color. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do the ribbing here at the bottom, and then we'll head over to make the sleeves. Alright, to start our ribbing, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. And on this very first stitch here, you're going to yarn over and make a front post. Okay, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2 of your hook. That is going to count as our first front post double crochet. Then you're going to yarn over and make a back post. Pull through 2 and pull through the last 2. Yarn over and you're going to make a front post. Insert your hook under the stitch or under the post, pull up a loop, pull through 2 and pull through the last 2 like that. Yarn over. The next one is going to be a back post. Pull up a loop, pull through 2 and pull through the last 2. And that's what you're going to repeat, making a front post and a back post double crochet for the ribbing. When you get to the end, This is a front post. The last stitch is going to be a back post, like that. Then you're going to chain 1 and turn for row 2 of our front and back post, double crochet. Okay, so you're going, this here right now is a front post, so you're going to yarn over and make a double crochet around that stitch, which is a front post, like that. Then you're going to yarn over and make a back post, yarn over, make a front post. Every stitch that's in the front stays in the front, and the ones at the back stays at the back. Make a back post, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook under the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, and repeat that. Repeat that pattern until you get to the end. This is all you have to repeat. Okay? Once you get to the end, you're going to chain 1 and turn, and then you're going to do the same thing we just did here again. You're going to repeat this second row of our front and back post double crochet. That's what you're going to repeat for. So I have completed the ribbing, and this is how it looks. I made a total of 5 rows for it, and this is how it should be looking. So next we're going to make the sleeves. So to make the sleeves, you're going to make a slip knot, and you're going to attach your yarn on in the center of your sleeve. This is where we joined from, so you're going to insert your hook in that stitch. Okay, so I'm going to insert my hook here. Pull through, chain 1 to secure that. I think I'm going to work over this one, this strand, as I go. And I'm going to be working, this is the right side of my work, okay? So you're going to chain up 1, and then in that same space, you're going to place there a double crochet in that space where the chain 1 is, or where you attached your yarn from. Place there a double crochet. Oops. Okay, there you go. And then you're going to place a double crochet in the chain 1 space here. Then double crochet on top of the next double crochet in the chain 1 space, double crochet on top of the next double crochet in the chain 1 space, and repeat that until you get to the end. So I'm now back at the end of my row, and I'm going to place a double crochet in this last space. So yarn over, double crochet in that space, and then I'm going to slip stitch on top of the first double crochet that we have here. Slip stitch to end the row, and then you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. Okay. Then you're going to yarn over, and you're going to place a double crochet into the same space you slip stitched into. Make a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 double crochet, and double crochet into the next, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next one, and repeat that until you get to the end of the row here. Okay, I'm ending the row here, and I'm going to chain 1 and skip this last stitch that we have here, and then slip stitch on top of the very first double crochet, because you have to keep in mind that the chain 1 that we're making does not count as a stitch. So chain 1 and turn your work. Okay, so chain 1 and turn, then you're going to yarn over and you're going to make a double crochet on top of that first stitch that you slip stitched into, like that. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, place the double crochet on top of that stitch and then double crochet in the chain 1 space, then double crochet on top of the next double crochet, then double crochet in the chain 1 space, double crochet on top of the next double crochet from previous row, and you're going to repeat that all the way around until you get back to the end of the row. Okay, I'm back at the end here. I'm just completing these 2 last stitches. So once you get to the end, you're going to slip stitch on top of the very first double crochet. Okay, like that. Chain 1 and turn, yarn over and make a double crochet into that same space you slip stitched into, like that, and make a double crochet. I don't know why it's like that, but okay. So make a double crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet into the next, chain 1, and you're going to repeat that. Okay, so that's going to be the pattern of our sleeve here. Okay, you're going to keep repeating those 2 rows, the mesh part, the chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, the chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet, and then once you're done with the mesh row, you make the row of normal double crochets without the skipping. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make as many rows as I want until I reach to maybe somewhere here, because I'm going to make a band and I'm most likely going to make it in a different color, or I might use these 2 colors at the end. So I'll go ahead and make my sleeve and I'll be back to tell you guys how many rows I have made. Then we'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side of our sleeve. Okay, so yeah, see you in a bit. I have completed 25 rows starting from the point where we joined from to where we are now. So the next thing we're going to do is make the ribbing up to this point. Okay, so this is what I have here, and we're going to chain 1, and then this time we're not going to turn our work. So you're simply going to yarn over and you're going to go under these 2 stitches. I hope you can see that. Let me zoom in a little. So you're going to go under these 2 stitches, okay? So you're going to chain 1, yarn over, insert your hook under the 2 stitches like that, beneath those 2 stitches. Then you're going to pull up a loop and make a double crochet like that. Then you're going to yarn over, and this time you're going to pass your hook and pull the 2 stitches at the back, okay, making a back post double crochet. So by doing this, we are making decreases. Then you're going to yarn over, and you're going to do the first thing we did here. Yarn over, insert your hook under the 2 stitches like that, and make a front post like that. Yarn over, insert your hook from the back and pull the 2 stitches at the back, pull up a loop and make a back post double crochet. And you're going to repeat that until you get to the end of the row. When you get to the end, this is the front post. You're going to yarn over and make a back post in the last 2 stitches like that, and then you're going to slip stitch, to join and cut off the yarn. I'm going to change color, but if you don't want to change color, you just have to continue with the same color that you're using. So I'm going to be using this pink. Make a slip knot, and I'm going to attach it in the stitch where we left off. This right here. I'm going to chain 1, then you're going to yarn over and you're going to make a front post. Okay, this is the front post. So you're going to yarn over and insert your hook under that stitch, insert your hook behind the stitch and make a front post. Okay, then yarn over and make a front post, a back post rather. So every front post gets a front post and every back post gets a back post. This is the same thing we did for the ribbing at the bottom of our cardigan here. Okay, something we did here. Okay, I'm going to keep going and I'll meet you back at the end right here. Okay, I have one last stitch left, which which is a back post. Then I'm going to slip stitch on top of this first double crochet like that. Then I'm going to chain one, and then you're going to make a front post. Okay, this is the chain one from the previous row, and it goes together with the first double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook, and make a front post double crochet like that. Then you're going to make a back post, and then you're going to make a front post, a back post, and a front. Keep repeating that until you get to the end of the row. Okay, I'm going to end the row with a back post, then slip stitch on top of the first double crochet like that. Then you're going to repeat that row that we just completed. Chain one and make a front post. Okay, yarn over and make a back post, make a front post double crochet, I'm done with my sleeve, and this is how it looks. I completed with a row of single crochet here, and once you're done, you're going to kind of just pull it a little bit. I like doing that because it becomes smaller here. That's why I do that. Okay, so we're now going to add a nice ribbing on our cardigan. Okay, you're going to make a slip knot with your new color, and in the very first double crochet we have here, you're going to insert your hook and attach your color. Then you're going to chain one. The chain one does not count as a stitch, so into the very first space you're going to make a single crochet. Then into the next space you're going to make 2 single crochets. Then into the next one you're going to make 1. Into the next space you're going to make 2 single crochets. Then you're going to make 1. Then into the next space you're going to make 2. You're going to keep repeating this until you get to this point around the neck of your cardigan. Then from there I'll be showing you what to do. Okay, here we have 2, then 1, 2 singles, then 1 single. So here I have 2 singles, and this last one is going to be 1. And then now we're going to work around the neckline of our cardigan. So what you're going to do is you're going to place a single crochet into that first stitch. Okay, single crochet on top of the next, single crochet in each and every stitch until you get to the other side of the cardigan, and repeat the same thing we did here. Okay, I worked my way around with the 2 single crochets, 1 single, 2 singles, 1 single, until I reached the end. And here I'm going to change color and use a new color. Okay. Going to attach my new color right here. I'm going to introduce this red one. So make a slip knot and insert your hook on top of that very first stitch and attach your yarn. That chain one does not, going to chain one, that chain one does not count as a stitch, so you're going to make a single crochet into that same space. Okay, so that's your first stitch there, and then in the rest of the stitches we're going to be working in the back loops only, but the first stitch we're going to be working through both stitches. Okay, so into the next stitch you're going to go through the back loop and make a single crochet. Oops. Go through the back loop of the next stitch with a single crochet. Go through the back loop of the next stitch with a single crochet, and this is what you're going to repeat until you get to the end. So I have worked my way from this point up to the neckline, to where the neckline starts at, so you can see, and I have one stitch left here. So once you get here, you're going to work through both loops. Okay, you're not going to work in the back loop only, but in both stitches, and make a single crochet, chain one and turn your work, and you're going to repeat that row we just completed. Okay, so chain one, turn, and continue working. Chain one, turn, and continue working in back loops only. Only in the back loops. Okay, you're going to keep repeating that. So you're going to keep repeating those 2 rows until you have about 5 rows in total of these single crochet back loops only, and then I'll be back. So I'm back after making my 8 rows for each side. Okay, for each side I made 8 rows with the red color, and that's how it looks. I really love how it turned out. So we're going to make pockets and we're going to attach them, and then we'll do something around the neck area here, because I feel like something is missing there. So let's make the pockets first, and then we'll get to the neck part, and then we'll be done with this cardigan. Alright guys, I have already made one of the pockets, and this is how it looks. So we're going to make something identical, and this is 6.5 inches wide, and it is 7.5 long. Okay, so I don't know how long you want yours to be, but that's how I'm going to make mine. You're going to leave a long tail because it's going to help you to sew it on the cardigan. I'm going to use this red. Alright, you're going to make a slip knot. We're still using our 5mm hook. You're going to chain 25. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5. I'm done with my chain of 25, and I'm going to add 1, and I'm going to use that chain 1 to turn my work. Okay, so we're not counting that chain as a stitch. Okay, so we're going to yarn over, and we're going to make a double crochet in the second chain from the hook. So I'm making 1 double crochet in each and every stitch until I get to the end. Okay, I'm working in my last stitch here, For row 2, you're going to chain 1 and turn. The chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so you're going to yarn over and make a double crochet in the back loop only of that first double crochet that you have. Make a double crochet, and you're going to make a double crochet in each and every back loop of the 25 stitches. Repeat that until you get to the end. I have one stitch left here, so I'm going to go through both loops because this is the last stitch with a double crochet. For row 3, you're going to repeat row 2. So chain 1 and turn, yarn over, make a double crochet in the back loop of that first double crochet, place there a double crochet, yarn over, make a double crochet in each back loop until you get to the end of the row, and that's basically all you have to repeat. You're going to repeat that until you have a total of 13 rows, but on the 13th row you're going to work through both loops when you're making the 13th row, okay? So I'll go ahead and complete mine. I'll be back once I have 13 rows completed. I have completed my 13 rows and this is how it looks. So we're going to make the last 2 rows in the front and back loops stitches. So chain 1 and turn your work, yarn over, and you're going to make a double crochet on top of that first stitch like that, yarn over. The next stitch you're going to make a front post, okay. The next stitch you're going to make a back post, then make a front post double crochet in the next stitch, and you're going to repeat this pattern until you get to the end of the row. When you get to the end of the row, you're going to yarn over and make a double crochet on top of that last stitch. Chain 1, turn your work, start with a double crochet in that very first stitch. And then you're going to make a back post, because this is a back post here. Then make a front post double crochet and repeat. I know we've been doing this, so you must already know how to make a front post and a back post. Okay guys, we're now going to attach our pockets. You're going to get your stitch markers and you're going to pin it down so that it does not move. I'm going to use this pink color as my guideline for where the pocket needs to stop, okay? So I'm pinning this down here, making sure that it won't move. Like that. Okay, I'll pin down this corner as well. Okay. So once you're done with that, we're now going to start sewing. Get your yarn and your darning needle and thread it. Okay, I think since I'm going to sew it like this, I'm going to turn it a little bit so that I can see where. So I'm going to start sewing from here. I hope you guys can see. there is no technique that I'm going to be using here, but oops. So I'm going through each row like so, as you will be seeing. So what I'm doing is I'm not working into this first double crochet from this here. So I'm leaving only this double crochet out of work and making sure that I work into the next double crochet so that I can keep it clean. Also, I'm making sure that my thread does not go through, like I don't want it to be seen on the other side of the cardigan. So I'm keeping it just here on top. So we're going to keep it going like so, guys. If you have a better way to do this, go ahead and use that method. But this right here is working for me. Okay, go ahead and I'll meet you here so I can show you how it'll be working on this side. So I have sewed down this part here, and now we're going to work on this one. So what you're going to do is pass your hook in through the two V's, the two loops. And then through the next stitch. Okay. So you're going to keep sewing it like so. Then you'll do the same for the other side until you get here on top, and weave in the tail and cut off the yarn. So guys, I'm done sewing my pocket down, and that's how it looks. This is the inside part. Anyway, so once you have your tail, you're going to weave that in. Then you will do the same thing on the other side of the cardigan, and yeah, make the second pocket. So guys, after making the pockets, I want us to make the front and back post double crochet around the neck area of our cardigan. I'm going to be using this red color again, and I'm going to start from this point where we have the red. Okay, going to just insert my hook there and attach my yarn, chain 1. That does not count as a stitch, so chain 1 there. Then you're going to yarn over and make there, in that same space, make a double crochet. Okay, that will count as your first stitch. Then you're going to yarn over and you're going to go over this ridge here that we have and make a front post double crochet. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. I hope it's more clear there. So this is a front post. You're going to yarn over and make a back post. Then you're going to make a front post. Okay, then you're going to yarn over and make a back post here. It's going to look like this, and you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches. Okay, so that's a back post. You're going to yarn over and make a front post here. Yarn over. Just ignore the single crochet row. We're working over the double crochets. Make a back post, then a front post, a back post, so I have worked my way back here, and when you get to this point you should count this as your first double crochet, second, third, fourth. Then the 5th double crochet will have to go on top of that last row that you made, like that. Chain 1 and turn. Make a double crochet on top of that first double crochet. So here we have a front post, so yarn over and make a front post double crochet. The next stitch is a back post, so make a back post double crochet, and then a front post, and a back post. So you're going to repeat this pattern of making front post and back posts. I think I'm going to make about 3 rows for the neck part. Yeah, 3 to 4 rows. Then I will be back to show you how it looks at the end. Okay, I went ahead and completed my 3 rows, and this is how the neckline looks. I like it much better like this one, like this. So I chained 1 here, I chained 1, and I'm going to end with a row of single crochet, and this is going to be our last row for this cardigan. Like, we are done with it, guys. make single crochets on top of every stitch until you get to the end. I can't thank you enough, guys, for watching. Thank you so much. For those who recommend my tutorials to others, I really appreciate. If you are new, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you found this tutorial helpful, give it a thumbs up, okay? And leave a comment below telling me how you have found this tutorial, and let's engage, okay? Let's talk about it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video.